Yeah, it's a new look, eh?
Yeah, I dig it.
And feel.
Yeah, new faces, new stuff in the background.
And two guys shooting the breeze on couches. So a whole bunch of things that we want to chat about today, but let's just start with what have you been driving, riding?
Well, yeah, so I have two vehicles currently. One being the long-term Ford Transit or Ford Tornado Custom, and then what's currently standing in the parking lot, a KTM 1290 Adventure, Super Adventure R.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You enjoying that?
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic machine.
Well, that's not it, but it's okay. No. It's a Rainer saw a bike and he just queued it.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that later.
Yeah.
What have you been driving?
I actually just climbed out of the Honda BRV.
Magic seats.
Yeah, it's got a sort of magic seat style system. We posted a reel on the AutoTrader channel, Instagram, that just sort of illustrates what you can do with the seats. So lots of space. It's I believe it is better than the old outgoing one. I didn't get a chance to sample that.
Yeah, you can get a whole Christmas tree in.
Yeah, it's a good time of the year for that. But I'm not sold on it. It's a little pricey compared to like the Rumian and Ertiga offerings. I feel this one's just a little short change. And then, of course, I mean, what's worse than a slipping clutch?
A CVT.
Yeah. And
a noisy CVT.
And on the highway, the CVT is just, it's a bit painful to live with. If you're commuting in town, happy days.
Well, you know, I actually, I was the proud recipient of the two previous models. Yeah. If you ever want to have a good laugh, it's me talking to myself in the Gen 1 and the Gen 2.
Which also is nothing new. That would be a regular Saturday.
Yeah. And look, if for a aspiring young family, car's magic.
Yeah.
But
so you with kids, I'm sure it was a little easier to see how it would slot into your lifestyle. Because the school run and the likes. I mean, the rear seats now they're saying has got more space than before. I don't think you really needed to use that third row much. You probably had it folded down just to expand the cargo space.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, but I mean, this is a lot easier than, and especially with younger children with the shorter legs, easier for them to get in and out of on their own, and that than something that's high riding like an SUV.
I found that on the majority of 7-seaters. The third row is for those of very short stature or children.
And when you're in a pinch.
Yeah.
When you absolutely have to
most of the time it spends its time folded into the floor or flat.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's those. I want to move on to some interesting vehicles that we have to look forward to. New vehicles to the South African market.
Yeah. So I have brought the Ford Ranger Tremor. Now, Ford went about their business the last few years. They took a scalpel to their lineup. They basically got rid of everything that wasn't a bucky.
Besides that, there were also like 65 different Ranger variants that you could choose from at a stage. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah, they basically trimmed all of that back. And in the last, let's call it 2 months, 3 months, they've just started adding them back. So now you get the Ford Ranger with a single turbo. You get it in a 2-liter, 2.2. And you get it in different variations. You get the Ranger, you get the Wildtrak, you get the new Wildtrak X, XLT, XL. I think they've dropped XLS. But
yeah, they dropped XLX.
And they've just given us this. Okay, so this hasn't launched yet. It is coming next year.
2024. It's going to be the first one of the new, or one of the first ones of their new onslaught. Because with this comes Platinum.
Yeah.
Which is another take, but tell us a bit about the Tremor.
So the Tremor is basically a take on the Wildtrak X. So it's an XLT-based Ranger that has the suspension from the Wildtrak X, which is the new Bilstein,
a fancy damper maneuver, exactly. Increased ride height.
And they've given it a few little luxury touches, things like the trailer backup assist, and that's pretty much it. It's the workhorse version with a few extras. For guys...
What differentiates this between a Wildtrak X then? Okay. Is this just like a budget version? Or?
Yes, it's a budget version.
Okay. All
so
right,
it's the base version that you can buy, and then you can take it to your local overland outfitter and throw all of the accessories at it.
So this is the one you don't mind scratching?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
Yes.
So it comes in at a cheaper price point, but it still has a lot of the niceties that you'd be looking for in something like a Wildtrak X or Raptor-esque type vehicle. Okay.
And then the Platinum that we talked about is the top.
So now
it's a luxury double cab. So
I understand that because over the last couple of years, the double cab has started riding more and more like an SUV. And listen, the current generation of Ranger drives sublime.
Amazing. There's a reason why that vehicle won Car of the Year.
And rightfully so.
A cracking vehicle. But we're talking about 4x4s. What did you bring?
So we've actually got a vehicle in that is going to be running over the December period.
Another long-termer.
And it's pseudo long-termer. I mean, long-termers traditionally used to be like 6 months to a year long-term. And now they've sort of 3 months, and then you get a December car, which is like over the December period. So it means that we still need to create content, but I'm rather keen on it. It is the JC74, the 5-door Suzuki Jimny.
And I can honestly tell you, having now driven it on the launch Botswana, that little car is something else. I think there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be climbing into this variation of the Jimny.
So,
but you have something to say about that.
Yeah, as a former JB74. So JB74 is your 3-door and JC74 is your 5-door. JB74, I'm going to say owner, had one in the garage for a while, lived with the vehicle in GLX trim, automatic. There is such a community, and of course I dived into the community. You're always looking for accessories. I don't want to say spare parts because it's as reliable as a Swiss watch.
I saw a couple of the modifications that you did.
Yeah, absolutely. Before you've even taken delivery of it, you're already planning your mods. It is just one of those vehicles that opens itself and lends itself to so much customization. Oddly enough, everywhere except the wheels. And we talk about...
So that's it in bog standard form.
And that will be in...
Yeah, that's the Maruti spec. It's got the chrome.
Yeah, but that's actually a little odd because unless it's just the light, because it doesn't look like it has the color-coded door handles.
No, that is...
But it's got the LED headlights, so that will be GLX trim, which is the top spec one. You get it in the GL and the GLX. There's no GA variant of it, but then you get to choose 5-speed manual, 4-speed auto, which is its Achilles heel. I really feel it needs another. It needs a 5-speed auto, but
the version that I drove in Botswana had the auto box, and it was fantastic. What a lot of the guys were complaining about was like when you're doing the sand driving, you're constantly shifting gears. Because
trying to
and it gets
retain,
tiring. Whereas the auto it made up its own mind. That is actually the homologation model. That was on the launch with us. That is the vehicle that they already modified.
Yeah, you can see it's got the whole front runner roof rack on it.
And
I did see that one.
The Dunlop Grand Trek tires.
Yeah, a nice change from the 8020s. Yeah, that they were putting on, or that they do put on the 3-door. So the Grand Treks 85s, I think they are, the 85s, 3-ply sidewall, a little more rough and tumble, a proper all-terrain tire instead of a more commercial bias tire.
And what was so nice is where that vehicle went, we went with the bog standard versions. Yeah, and they performed just the same. But I mean, there you can see that is just 2-3 little things.
Yep,
and already it looks.
It's got a presence to it.
It's got a presence.
So I mean, the community was largely up in arms. Both you and I have spent some time or been exposed to the 5-door. I'm going to spend a little more time with it now and get a real sort of hands-on feel for it. But you did the launch. I was in India for it. And on the back of that, getting the discussion going and the hype around the 5-door arriving, the JB74 owners are properly up in arms. They're like, this is selling out. A Jimny is supposed to be a 3-door. It's supposed to be a short wheelbase. This is a bastardization of a theme. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you are a little blinded by your own bias.
Very much so. And the thing is, having spoken to our friends at Suzuki, the audience for the 3-door is on one side. The people that the 5-door is aimed at, completely different segment of people.
There's such a small little segment of those JB74 owners,
which will trade in their 3-door and go for a 5-door.
And go for a 5-door because they've just simply outgrown it. Yeah. But what you're saying is quite accurate, and I think it's such a smart play
Oh, very
because
nice. Very, very clever.
It launched 4 weeks ago.
Pretty much, yeah.
About 4 weeks ago. I'm starting to see them out in the wild already.
Yep.
So the 5 doors are not going to sit there and run flat on their tires in the showroom floor because they're idle. They're actually moving. I think that this is a good play because where the 3-door is compromised. Space is a luxury you are not afforded in the 3-door. The boot is tiny on the thing. Boot. It's a 55-litre boot.
Yeah, and on the new
85 litre boot.
On the new one, it's up to
211.
Yeah, and it gets even bigger when you drop the back seats.
But you've got 211 litres now, which you can actually genuinely use.
I think I have a picture somewhere on my social medias of the luggage of 2 gentlemen. It's 2 suitcases, 2 backpacks, plonked in there, and there was still space. I
had to make a choice in the 3-door. Am I taking a change of clothing with, or am I taking the dogs with? Because I couldn't take both.
Yeah.
Because if I took the luggage with, I'd have to fold the back seats down and put the luggage in. Then there's no place for the dogs.
As far as the 5-door is concerned, I think they're both going to continue selling because both camps will be this was the same story we had when Jeep released the 5-door Wrangler.
Yeah, Sahara. Yeah.
The 3-door guys went nuts. This is not a Wrangler.
Yeah, it's a sellout, etc.
But how many more 5-door Wranglers do you see on the road than 2 doors?
But now I'm going to ask the question: how much cannibalism do you think is going to happen of 3-door sales?
Not many.
You don't think?
I don't think so. And even the guys at Suzuki will tell you, we don't believe. Yes, there's going to be a small margin of guys, like you said, that have outgrown the 3-door. They don't want to get rid of their Jimny, but they just want something bigger. But your traditional 3-doors will remain with that camp, and the guys who just wanted the extra space will go for the 5-door. The people that would initially have not bought a Jimny because there wasn't enough space.
Absolutely, it's those guys. Do you think it's going to hurt the resale value of the 3-door though?
No.
You think there's still going to be enough of a following in a camp? I mean, if we take the Jeep model, the Wrangler model, and we look at that, they hold their values about equally.
There's something else also to consider, and that is 3 doors are manufactured in Japan. 5 doors manufactured
in Suzuki.
Indian built.
All right.
And the 3-door, because of its Japanese ancestry, is going to maintain its value.
I mean, for enthusiasts like you and I,
we understand
that,
and we can
also touch and feel and tell the difference, because there is a difference. It's ever so slight, but for the educated, discerning customer, they're going to be able to identify it. What we're actually going to do now is we've got it in studio, so let's take a walk around and see what this 5-door Jimny is about,
because it could be very interesting.
Here it is.
This is it, yes.
5-door Jimny in sizzling red. Now, that's one of the unique colors that you get on the 5-door that you're not going to get on the 3-door. Other than that, styling-wise, largely the same. Up front, you're going to get these chrome inserts in a gunmetal grille, because this is a Maruti Suzuki, as we were saying. First thing I do away with, sorry.
I think there's going to be a lot of changing out that happens. Other than that, LED lights, we've mentioned that there is a change in the tires. Wheels stay the same, but it's the doors. The 2 additional doors, 2 in the back, give you so much more space and room here. I mean, you look to be sitting pretty comfortably there.
There's plenty of legroom, plenty of headroom. It's awesome.
And in that position, you've got that 211 litres of storage space, boot space.
You know what's cool as well?
Can expand.
Drop all the seats inside, it becomes a double bed. You can sleep in this car.
Brilliant. Then you don't need that rooftop tent, or at least it makes it easier. Other than that, it is 340 millimeters longer, and they've added 90 kilograms. A little bit of a pity, because it does affect the approach and departure angles ever so slightly.
1 degree, 4 degrees, 2 degrees, front, middle, rear.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I think it only really affects the turning circle.
That's up from 9.8 meters to 11.4.
So, unless you're really, really tight on your 4x4 track,
it's no more difficult to drive than a hatchback.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and I'm going to say this, it is still powered by the exact same engine, despite the increased weight, 90 kilograms heavier. K15B, we know the engine, we love the engine. We've got it paired here with a manual gearbox.
which I believe is the way to go. The 4-speed auto on the highway.
Something that Suzuki does so well. They take one engine and they put it in everything.
Yeah.
And it is multi-purpose and it works so well in everything. Just as a broad base. And it doesn't do exceptionally well in this, but they put it in the Jimny, the XL6, the Ertiga. It's in the Swift. It's
Franks, Vitaras, everything. So it is a great engine, 75 kilowatts, 130 Newton meters. Doesn't sound like much, doesn't look like much on paper, but out on the road, really not that bad. Suzuki engines love to be revved up, so you mustn't be scared of revs when you drive one of these. I'm going to be spending some time with this. I'm going to go and flex it a little bit off-road, see if there is any difference. I don't believe that there is.
I can attribute to that. It's not. And after 900 kilometers in 3 days, still, you just want to climb back in and carry on driving.
Are going to add that they have upgraded the infotainment system to a 9-inch unit that also has wireless Android Auto and wireless CarPlay.
Yeah.
There's also PDC at the rear, as well as a reverse camera. Those are some of the niceties that see the prices inflated. Still, GLX Auto is still going to come in under 500,000 Rand, comfortably under 500,000 Rand.
Overly capable 4x4.
With low range, ladder chassis, solid axle.
Best money you can spend.
Yeah. All right, let's head back.
Back to the studio.
Okay, so I mean, I've got a lot of love, as you can clearly tell. For
As do I. I mean, having spent 3 days in the deepest, darkest bush, surrounded
because you have to.
Yeah,
you have to. I think if you buy a Jimny, you really do have to.
You have to
go and take it off-road. Go and find an introductory course. Go and see what your vehicle is capable of, because then it's going to make a lot more sense when you're out on the road.
Yeah.
Because it makes the most sense off of it.
Pretty much so.
All right, I want to move on to a couple of upcoming events and discuss some past events, some motorsport. We're motorsport enthusiasts. Abu Dhabi was the last F1 Grand Prix.
Didn't watch it.
But it was a bit of a non-event compared
to
Las Vegas.
Vegas was mental. As somebody who enjoys racing, racecraft, motorsport as itself, on-track activity, Vegas kind of ruined F1 for me. And I don't know if you agree.
Why?
It was all about the show, the pomp, the circumstance, and it had absolutely nothing to do with. And then, of course, there was all of the drama that happened on track because of the concentration being on it being a show and a presentation.
Yeah, okay.
And instead of there was the loose manhole covers and the accidents and the crashes and pretty much what NASCAR had become.
So
this was NASCAR for Europeans.
I hear you there, but I am going to eat my hat. I still got a little vocal on social media, and I said, when money trumps the actual show.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm going to. I posted a couple of memes as well, where that Homer and Bart Simpson, Las Vegas talking to Miami and saying Miami saying I'm the cringiest GP ever. No, cringiest GP so far.
Yes.
So I was one that was anti Las Vegas. I was like, it's a street circuit, which I'm not a big fan of, and especially when it's a modified street circuit. I get that you want to try and create or replicate that Monaco.
You're never going to do that.
Sort of vibe, but you're not going to do that.
We take those F1 cars and put them on the Macau street circuit, and it's exactly the same thing.
Oh, pandemonium.
It's
absolute pandemonium.
Crashes, and it's just. I'm going to say, first pancake. Let's see what happens next year.
So
if we have a repeat, then I'm going to be right off the list. It's not even.
I'm going, and that's why I say I'm going to eat my hat, because that was my initial stance on it. Was this is Liberty going to town and turning this into an absolute show fiasco, insane. Max even spoke about it when he said
Las Vegas.
People are coming there and they're going out and they're going to the bar and they're attending the show and they're seeing that DJ and they're getting absolutely wasted, and there just so happens to be motorsport happening.
Yeah. They're not going there for the race.
They're not going there for the race. They're going there for the show, for the social event. And that's okay. I suppose a part of motorsport can be that social event.
dome thing was just insane.
It's insane.
$34 million or something stupid projecting inside the screen.
But the thing is, when you sit there and you've got all that sort of extraneous entertainment for youngsters, non-motorsport fans, you may just make them motorsport fans. I think the idea is great. The execution's a little lacking.
Well, that's why I said, let's see what happens next year. But
I don't want to take anything away because it was a cracking race. The race itself. So let's take it from motorsport.
Okay, let's
there were more overtakes in this race
forget
than
about who
in
won
any
the
other.
race because that was a given.
But still,
it was everything that else that was happening behind it. I didn't watch the race. I just watched the highlights package, and it was like, I don't think I would have sat down for the full 2 hours.
It became a genuinely engaging race. Oddly enough, as much as I didn't like the layout of the circuit and that in the beginning, I'm going to eat my hat because that circuit just lended itself to some great overtakes, some fantastic slipstreaming. It wasn't necessarily a true test of a driver's skill, but as a test of the vehicles and the vehicle's durability, it did well for that. So I can appreciate that aspect of it. I'm going to side with you though. As long as they can tighten the screws on it, it'll be a good race next year.
Well, let's see what happens. From major motorsport to local motorsport.
Yeah.
We have something happening this weekend.
Yes, we do.
That you are super... can I just say I'm proud that you are actually going to be competing in the Kailami 9 Hour.
It's a mad honor, as part of the South African Endurance Series. That takes place this weekend. So the Friday and the Saturday. Friday practice, qualifying, that type of thing. And then Saturday, the race proper. And it is with Toyota Gazoo Racing. We're going to be campaigning, oddly enough, not just any GR86, but the very same GR86 that I campaigned this year. Car number 81, race number 81. It'll be race number 14 this weekend. But Mark Jones, Satraba Mashego, Dennis Drop and myself, we're on a team and we're going to be competing up against some proper GT2 and GT3 endurance race cars, or at least sharing the track with them, competing for the overall prize, but we are in Class D. We are essentially going to be mobile chicanes.
Dude, I just think it is so awesome.
It's doing that, dude.
After the year that you've had. So for the people who don't know what we're talking about, you campaigned this car throughout this year.
Yeah, 7 rounds.
Part of the Extreme Festival with Toyota Gazoo Racing as the media contingent racing these bog standard 86s around the track.
Correct, yeah.
And
Rainer, we've got a picture of it, but pull it up there quickly, man.
There
we go with AutoTrader and my name on it. I mean, so that was my race. That was my race car.
Dream, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the video that you posted last week was the wrap up of the season, and you take second place in the championship.
Second place in the championship,
which is essentially, if we take Sachaba out of the equation, you finished first.
Well, yeah, because I mean, Chava just ran with it. I mean,
he'd won the thing by the fourth round.
But absolutely, I mean, fantastic. I can't sing his praises high enough because not only is he a skilled driver, but he's such a likable chap as well, and his humility is second to none. As oxymoronic as that sounds,
and racecraft,
fantastic. Yeah, he's got great skills. So I'm keen to share a car with him. The thing is, he's going to have to dial it back a bit because where we are actually aiming for
to finish. So
not only finish was index of performance.
So last year, Sean, he did exactly the same thing, but they were in the GR Yaris's.
Correct, and they raced at Kalani.
Yeah, and they finished 1 and 2 in the index of performance.
So index of performance, I mean, there's a whole bunch of maths in it, and usually when it's applied mathematics, like in motorsport or something, I'm okay with it. I'm cool with applied mathematics like that. Then I'm not functional grade.
Understand numberies.
I'm not like maths lit on that. Then I'm like, cool. But with index of performance, I haven't quite wrapped my head around it. It's basically just about consistency. And when we're sharing 4 drivers, we need all 4 drivers to be running
consistent lap times
and
staying out
consistent
of the way
to each other.
Yeah, and staying out of the way of those Lamborghinis and
Ferraris and the backdraft Cobras and the likes that are doing 300 k's an hour down the straight, whereas we're doing 160, 170, closing speed of like 130, 140.
I still think it's an absolute honor to just to be there and to compete with those.
Absolutely fantastic.
So there we go. That is the track layout.
Yeah,
for anybody who wants to go, the track is open. 50 Rand ticket on
50 Rand ticket, general 50 on Friday, 100 Rand on Saturday.
Bring your bride.
That is so affordable to come and watch proper 9-hour racing.
And you can park your car next to the track, put up the gazebo, break out the braai.
Absolutely, yeah. They're encouraging that. They want to build up that vibe that was the old
9-hour endurance.
Yeah, the Star newspaper. It was the Star newspaper 9-hour that always used to take place. We're talking about in the 60s, 70s, and into the 80s before things got a little turbulent at Kailami. My dad used to attend it every year.
I used to watch it on TV.
He's attending it this year, but his son is racing in it, which is kind of cool. So yeah, a little one there.
Yeah.
Another one that's going to make you a little jelly is another race that's coming up.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this in January?
This is in January, 5th to the 19th of January.
Are you going to Saudi?
I'm going to Saudi Arabia.
No, so you're going to Dakar. Dude,
Dakar!
I did Dakar in 2018. Yeah. I was in South America.
South America version.
I did Peru. Very similar in the Sea of Dunes, sand, off-roading nuts. Naturally, I was to go and watch cars, but that was where I followed the bikes more than anything else. That is an experience in itself. Watching the cars are awesome, the bikes are awesome, but the trucks are going to blow you away.
I'm so keen to see them. But I mean, yeah, bikes, quads,
it's everything. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and it is the most grueling race on earth, essentially.
Listen, I have had call it the pleasure and displeasure of riding shotgun with Janelle de Villiers in his Dakar vehicle
T1
during one of the
one like that
during their testing phase.
No, that's a BRX. My bad.
Yeah, that's what Sebastian Loeb's going to be driving.
That's right.
I've had the pleasure of driving as a passenger with Janelle on the test loop in Goedepan in Uppington.
Northern Cape.
It was 10 minutes, and when I got back to the pits, I crawled out of the car, got down on my hands and knees and just said, "Sir, I do not know how you do that for 12 days.
Yeah.
For 10 hours a day."
Yeah.
That was 10 minutes.
Brutal.
It obliterated my spine.
Listen, let's be perfectly honest here. Casualties happen.
Yes. Sadly.
Sadly,
man.
Yeah, they do. But in a way, that is one of the last bastions of pushing the human body to its extremes and finding out what it can do. It is a proper endurance test. There is real risks. It isn't nanny state, wrapped in bubble wrap, coddled all the way around safe spaces.
Open desert of Saudi. It's rocks, sand, mountains.
Unforgiving, and you need to step up to the plate and deliver.
I think what's making this year a little bit interesting is there's been quite a bit of shuffling between the drivers.
There has, yes.
NASA has left.
He's moved to ProDrive,
and he's gone to those other vehicles. So Janelle is now the top driver again.
Correct, and I believe it is his last year.
Yes, Henk Latergan's not going to be there this year.
No, he's injured. Guy Botterill is in there, and then doing it for the first time is the youngster Saud Variawa.
So this is going to be a very interesting year.
It's going to be.
So the reason why we mention is because that is our homebred.
Yep.
Top
SVR Hall Speed builds these vehicles here locally, just down the road.
We've also got a couple of guys from Ford. I think Ford are also going.
NWR Racing, the guys from Redline with the Nissans, they're going to be going. Brian Baragwanath and them are going out there. Century Racing.
When you get
it's a big contingent.
The bivouac. After I don't know if you guys are just there for the before end.
We're getting like the last 3 stages.
So you will eventually make it into the bivouac, and just walking through there and seeing Sebastian Loeb and the cars
and the Saints, Saint Senior.
Yes,
I mean that we watched.
They're right there in the pit lane. Yeah. It's going to be amazing, dude. You're going to have to picture it didn't happen.
Absolutely. No, Pixar, it didn't happen. So, no, I'm definitely keen to go there and experience it. I think it's going to be fantastic, Saudi Arabia. I am going to be trying to keeping you guys updated as best possible all the way through.
Excuse me, sir, what's the Wi-Fi password?
Yeah, that's going to be me the entire weekend. But that is sadly all we got time for today. But thanks for chatting. It's been pretty good. There. Thanks, Rainer. Okay. We've been ushered out.
Bye.
Bye.
Search AutoTrader.